little button. We're continuing in our series talking about music. Now we're going to talk about lyrics. We're not going to listen to any lyrics. We're not going to look at any lyrics. Not now. We will. But today we're just going to talk about what makes a lyric. We've already gone over the definition of music. Last week we dealt with instruments when it deals with music. And today we're going to talk about lyrics as they deal with music. We're going to look at the definition. And remember, behind this music, everything, there is a spirit behind music. You have to be ever so cognizant. Not just worldly music. We know there's a spirit there. We're talking about even in the church, y'all. Because depending upon how they play the music, it invokes a certain type of spirit. If they're playing it righteous, and they play it in such a way, it can invoke the spirit of praise. If they play it in another way, it invokes a spirit of worship. If they play it in another way, you're going to look at them like they're crazy. Because you're wondering where they're coming from. Because you heard them over there on the instruments, and you're going like, huh? It's just not settled in your spirit what that is. So it invokes a spirit, as we talked about with David. David played the harp. It chased away the evil spirits that were upon Saul. The playing of music has spiritual ramifications. Because where did it come from? Well, it came from Lucifer. Because he was filled with pipes and music came out of him. So he was the anointed cherub. But he took, once he was thrown out of heaven, he took that and he corrupted it. Because he can't create anything. All he can do is take whatever's created and corrupt it. And that's what he did. So now we're looking at lyrics. Lyrics is probably the most vital part of music. Because that's what gets more into the spirit of a person faster than anything else. Because of the fact it's a spoken word. Lyrics is a spoken word. It is something, it's sung, it has pitch, it has tonation, it has all that stuff, but it's a spoken word. And because it's a spoken word, it gets into your ears, which gets into your spirit. That word. That's why we remember songs. That's why 30-something years later, we still know the words to a song. Because it got into your ears and got into your spirit. You can be somewhere and somehow that thing will come up and you got it. It could be a jingle on television. And you know the whole jingle. You got it down pat. You could sing the whole jingle. Why? It got into your ears and it got into your spirit. That's what they do. That's how they do it. They get in there. Same thing they do with instruments. You could do the same thing with instruments. You can probably play a portion of any introductory to most sitcoms. They have lyrics, they have instruments in it. You play a portion of that, they can tell you exactly what sitcom it is. Because it's the instruments that tell you, and it gets into your ears, and it gets into your spirit. So you know what to expect next. Lyric. Let's look at the definition of a lyric. A lyric is a set of words that make a song. A lyric is a set of words, or lyrics are a set of words that make a song. And usually they have two things with it. Made up of verses and choruses. Now, you know when you hear a song, a person is singing, or a group of people is singing, what's called the verses. Then all of a sudden you have the choruses. That's when there is a mass group of people that are singing. And usually that's the chorus, and it's repeated over and over. So when they come to what they call the bridge, then they go into the chorus. And the chorus is what is repeated. The verses may change. Verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, verse 4. But the chorus normally remains the same. Or it may be two choruses of this refrain and then two choruses of this one. Or they may do a chorus, another different one, go back to the first one, and then do the last one. But the choruses are normally repeated. And that's the one thing that normally sticks with you. You know, I've seen people, pastors, when we are singing hymns, you know, they don't know they don't know the verses, and they but they know at the cross, at the cross. Well, see, they know the chorus, but they don't know the words. So they don't know the verses, but they are skilled in the chorus. So that's when you'll hear them real loud, at the cross. I mean, they'll get it on that one because they knew that particular chorus, but they just didn't know the verses that preceded that. Well, that's what most songs are made up of. They're made up of verses and choruses. And those verses and choruses have lyrics, words that make up a song. Lyrics come from the Greek word which means singing to the lyre. Now remember, we talked about what a lyre was last week. The musical instrument looked like a guitar, small, and they would play on the lyre. And when they did, the lyric came from the Greek word singing to the lyre. Because when they would play on it, they would sing songs. They would get their lyrics or whatever that they were supposed to be singing out, and they would play it to that. Because that would give them proper tonation. It would set the tempo for what they were trying to sing. It would give them the voice quality. Whatever they were trying to accomplish, they would do it while they were playing on the lyre. So that's where the Greek meaning of the word comes from, lyric. It is playing on the lyre. And as they were playing, then words would come out. And those words associated with the playing on the lyre. So that's where the word lyric comes from in the Greek. This word became very popular in 1876, where we actually start looking at these words or looking at lyrics in a song. And this is when they started recording those lyrics and putting them on a tape recorder so that the lyrics then would be recorded, and then they would set music to them. And when they set music to them, then they had what was called a song. Lyrics without music is called poetry. Lyrics without music is called poetry. Because most songs, and this is where we get our Psalms for, it's in the poetic part of the Bible. Because there's a poetry to it. Because if you don't have song, you don't have instrument, you don't have music to it, then you have what's called a poem. And you call it a limerick, or you could call it a ballad, you can call it whatever it is. Those are called poems. But when I put music to it, now I change it.